Hey, welcome back to Gecko Cove. My name is Bobby, and today I want to go over a very simple question when you're starting out with your very first gargoyle gecko, or something you might think about when you're starting to add a few more gargoyle geckos to your collection. And that's, how much time is this really going to take me to take care of all of these geckos? Well, today I'm going to show you how long it takes to take care of about 20 geckos, so stick around and find out. So to kick us off on my nightly routine with these gargoyle geckos, I want to go over what I do. So my schedule is an every other night schedule. I typically go and feed every other night. Now, 2 out of the 3 nights during the week, I will feed Pangea. The third night, I will actually try to feed insects, at least to my juveniles. Some of my adults do not really enjoy insects anymore, even though they did when they were younger. Yeah. So that's basically, first thing I do is I set up all the feeder bowls. Now you can use any kind of bowls you want, the plastic ones, the paper ones. I don't like those as much just because they cost way too much money to replace every single month. I like these because they're easy to wash. They're very sanitary. You can put them on the top of a dishwasher and they'll get nice and sanitized for you. But what I do is I take these these are actually ones that I found on Amazon. These are mini cupcake tins, and so basically I just flip them like so, and it creates a nice little bowl for the gecko, but then it has a nice ridge on this side, so when I put it down, it sits and the gecko can go and walk all over it and they won't flip it over. I like them. They seem to work for me. You can use whatever you want. But it takes me a little bit of time to flip these all, so let's speed through this. All right. So now that I have all my bowls lined up, what I do is I use my ketchup bottle, which what I do for Pangea is I mix up a big batch in a pretty much ketchup, condiment bottle, whatever you want to call it. And I follow the instructions for whatever Pangea I'm using, or Rapache, or any of the other mixes. But basically, I mix this up. I usually get about 3/4 of a bottle done when all said and done. And this will last me about 3, maybe 4 feedings. I just keep it in the fridge after the first use. And when we get to the end, I can add just a little bit more water because it does seem to dry out. But this is a great way to save time. Typically, when I have to make up a new bottle, that'll add on anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what is distracting me. So, definitely a great tip to save time. All right, now we just fill them up. One trick here is that when you're filling this up, know the size of your gecko. Now, I've got these little bottle cap feeders for my infants. Anything under 10 grams gets one of these. And I don't fill it up all the way. Some people go and they fill it up to the brim. Their stomachs are really small. So they really don't need a huge amount in there. You want to put enough where it doesn't dry out very quickly, but you're just wasting a ton of product if you fill one of these up to the brim. Now, with some of my bigger geckos, I do fill these up to the brim because these are medium size. For my really big geckos, I've got some that are over 60 grams. That's when I use these big boys. Now these, I don't even fill these up anywhere close. These are for leechies, in my opinion. But for my big girls, I'll put a decent sized glob in there and they'll eat those right up. They're my best eaters. That's why they're 60 grams. All right, so just fill that up. Fill the baby ones up. Perfect. All right. Not that hard so far. But I'm done dishing out the food. Now all I need to do is go behind me and swap out each of these dishes in their enclosure. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to be misting. So in just a moment, we're going to put this on fast forward and we'll see how long does it take me to feed and mist all my geckos in one night. All right, so let's get to it. I also use my chair to kind of prop up my bins. Now, I have bins. It's sometimes a lot easier, you'll see, when you have enclosures that are front opening. This, you have to take off the top and go into the enclosure. But I prop it up on my chair so that I don't have to bend over all the way, especially if my enclosures are down to the floor. All right. Forgot to mention, one thing I keep in all the enclosures are little silicone bowls. Each of my geckos has standing water. I know a lot of people think that you can just mist the enclosure and they get enough of water. I will tell you, when I come in here during the middle of the night, I find so many of my geckos drinking out of this. They love it. So I never have to worry about them getting dehydrated. I dump this out every other night to make sure that they get fresh water and fill it back up, even if it hasn't evaporated, because it is a humid environment. It typically doesn't evaporate. So for this one, I am checking eggs. It's going to take me a little bit longer just because this girl is due to lay some eggs. I kind of pile up the substrate into one corner so I know where to look each time. I can, because these enclosures are clear, lift them up to see if there's anything underneath. But I'll be honest with you, I don't get that lucky. Typically when I find eggs, they don't bury it at the very bottom. Maybe I use too much substrate. Who knows? Just because she's out, I will show you, she's all ready to shed and lay some eggs, hopefully. But this is Seychelles. She's a beautiful 6-stripe female gargoyle, about 62 grams. And I'm really looking forward to seeing some of her babies. You gotta see this girl. She's all fired up. Look at that. She is gorgeous. Hey, girl. All right, so I could never pass up showing this guy here. Look at the red. Probably not coming up beautifully on camera, but he is absolutely fire engine red. And his blotches just blend in right now, but he is a super, if not ultra blotch, baby gargoyle that I cannot wait to see him grow up so I can pair him to the big girls you just saw. And how I go about keeping humidity, all right, sometimes I always wondered, how long do you have to go and mist? It really depends on where you live, and so get yourself a really good hydrometer. I have a digital one that I actually keep connected to my phone so I can monitor them. I swap this throughout all the different enclosures just to keep an eye on them and the different types. But typically I've just got an idea of how much do I need to spray per enclosure. The ones that are on the bottom, I spray a little less because they keep their humidity. The enclosures a little bit higher up lose humidity much faster, and I spray them a little bit more heavily each time. But get yourself a good quality hydrometer, not one of those cheap ones, and you'll thank me. Alright, so that's all my adult and juvenile gargoyle geckos done. Now it's time for the babies. I take a little bit more time with each of the babies in order to just check on them, make sure they're eating, pooping, and if I have to change out their substrate because that needs to be done on a more consistent basis, I do that during these feedings. So let's get started with that. So I've got 2 clutch mates. These are the youngest ones. And let's see. Alright. One at a time. Oh, there you are. You're on the leaf. Look at that. Look how tiny and cute you are. Beautiful. You are definitely going to have a red face like your mama. Yeah. Alright. Looking nice and healthy, fired up. I just cleaned out the substrate, the paper towel for these guys. I keep everybody else on cocoa fiber and cocoa chunk mixed together. But these guys I keep on paper towel to watch. So there's that. Alright, these next 4 are a little bit older and come from 2 different parents. And I do have most of these up for sale. So If you're interested, let me know. Cutie. You're all fired up. I'm not selling this one quite yet. It hasn't grown to the size I'm comfortable selling yet, but this one's mom is Eve. Go check out my website, and this is a clone of her when she was younger. So I really think this one's going to be a bright red base, if you like that kind of thing. I do. Its hatchmate on the other end is growing a little bit faster. It came out bigger out of the egg, and I may part with it for the right price, but I'm probably going to keep this one. Alright, where are you, little dude? Or dudette? There you are. Yeah. This one is going to have the red base, you can already tell, but also it's got a ridiculous striping on the back and side, 6 stripe. Came out, it's not the kind of gargoyle where out of the egg it has the super bright stripes, but it does, you can see the side. I mean, it's just super thick. But it came out yellow, it's already turning this nice orange. And if I'm predicting right, and I've talked to a few breeders, this one's going to be a super thick striped, 6 stripe. And yeah, like I said, probably going to hold on to this one. I'd be kind of stupid to let it go, but for the right price, at the right moment, yeah, twist my arm. Now these are the oldest out of Kilauea and Hawaii. So Hawaii is a gorgeous 6 stripe, orange stripe gargoyle. And this one is my favorite out of this clutch. It's a really nice blotched gecko. This is fired down actually. And when it fires up, it's really dark. And yeah, I really enjoy this one. And then let's see the super quad stripe. Alright, this one, the camera should pick it up nicely. Come here. Look at the stripe on that one. I mean, that out of the egg, it was just glowing. I was really disappointed to see it didn't have the 6 stripe, but it does have some blotching on the side, and it's got those cheeks really well. So definitely a fantastic gecko. Definitely going to be selling this one. But if you're interested in a really amazing gecko at a really great price, be my first customer to buy an original Gecko Cove gecko. So now that they're all away, I'm going to be taking this food downstairs to my kitchen, giving it a nice rinse while it's still moist, and then throwing it in my dishwasher. And that's it. Well, and don't forget, I have done that before and wasted food. Put this in your fridge. Other than that, I'm done. Keeping geckos, especially New Caledonia geckos, is not that hard. Some of them require a few more bugs. If you're going to get a chewy, definitely know that there's some extra things that go with a chewy, but they're amazing geckos as well. The lychees, it's just more volume, a bigger enclosure, more food, cleaning way more poop. That's the one thing with lychees that if I ever get some, I'm not looking forward to, is potentially scraping off all that poop everybody keeps talking about. But with gargoyles, it's very manageable. About once a month, maybe a month and a half, I'll do a full toss of all the substrate because I don't keep a bioactive substrate, and then I just replace it with the cocoa fiber and cocoa chips mixed together. So really, it doesn't take me a huge amount of time. I probably dilly-dally and stretch it out because I enjoy spending time with the geckos, which hopefully if you have geckos, you enjoy spending time with them too. But have some fun with your geckos. Hopefully this shows you just what it takes on a nightly basis to take care of a collection of gargoyle geckos. I have a lot of fun doing these videos. Hopefully you've enjoyed this too. If you have, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on the Gecko Cove.
Hey, if you've enjoyed this video and want to encourage me to make more Gargoyle Gecko content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, share this with a friend, and maybe check out one of the videos right over there. I'll see you next time on Gecko Cove.